Hi friends, welcome back to another S13 series. And yes, we are upgrading some more parts onto this car. This car is like an endless money pit. But if you guys have been following along, I've been fixing the lean running issues, and turns out to be the hose in that connects the fuel pump to the sitting unit. I ended up replacing the whole pump, the hose, and freshen up the sitting unit. So if you guys haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch that. It's a long video, but it's worth it. The car is running a lot smoother than before. The leaning issue is fixed, but there's one more thing that I need to straighten out, which is the occasional misfire and hiccups. I think I might have an idea of what it could be. It could be a boost leak, it could be a vacuum leak somewhere. Could also be ignition coil or spark plugs, or worst case scenario, just something going on in the cylinder head. We're going to be upgrading to a Z33 from a 350Z or a G35 ignition coil. We're going to be upgrading it to that on the S13. I got the new spark plugs and GK. This car needs a tune-up. This is exactly why I'm upgrading to a new ignition coil. I didn't want to purchase another S13 SR ignition coil. I'd rather upgrade it to a more modern ignition coil. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. Right behind me, this is the new ignition coil. Let me show you what you need for this conversion. First thing, of course, you need an ignition coil. I don't remember what year this is from, but all I know is this is from the 350Z or G35, but this is the parts number for it. You guys want to purchase the same thing. I got these really cheap from Rock Auto. You can also get these from like a AutoZone or O'Reilly, but I ordered mine from Rock Auto. So another thing that I bought is the spark plugs, the NGK. This is the BKR6 EIX heat range 6. This is supposedly for a stock boost SR. If you're running anything higher than stock boost, then you would go to a BKR7. But in this case, I'm running stock boost, and I don't plan running any higher than that anytime soon. So this is what I'm going to stick with. Another thing I also bought is this United chip bypass. I bought this from eBay for about 15 bucks. You can also buy this from Wiring Specialty for about 30 bucks. But I mean, they look identical to Wiring Specialty, so they all work the same. It's just the connectors are the same, the wiring colors are different. Pretty much all you need. And you do have to make some changes, depinning the connector to swap out some wires, which I will show you guys in a little bit. But yeah, pretty much is all you need to do a conversion. Yeah, so let's just take off the old ignition coil and spark plug. First steps is removing the old ignition coils and spark plugs. Let me set this off to the side. Move it here. Alright, so you can see there my old worn out ignition coils. This is like never been replaced before. Stock Nissan. Oh man, this is why I want to replace the whole factory stuff. Wow, this is number one. There's a lot of oil on here, but no, actually there's fuel. There's a lot of fuel on it, but it doesn't look too bad. Looks like normal wear. Just leave it off there. Okay, number two. This one looks a bit more dry than the other one though. You can see on the first one, it's like wet. Number 3. Number 3 looks dry. Looks drier than the first one, but still good. I mean, all of these spark plugs look like normal wear. There's no burnt. Yeah. So cylinder 2 to 3, 2 to 4, they all look dry except for number 1. Okay, this is a new spark plug. Let's open it up. Make sure they're the right ones. Oh shoot. My bad, guys. Didn't mean to bump my head on that. But yeah, they look identical. So before I put it in, I'm gonna be checking the gap on the on this one. On the website it says this is a gap to 30 thousandths. So we're gonna find out if it's actually gap to 30 thousandths. The way you use this spark plug gap 2 is pretty much line a spark plug up on this lip, this step lip here. So, and then what you want to do is just slide it over until you feel resistance, or until it won't slide anymore, and that's where your spark plug is gapped at. In this case is about 28 thousandths. Let's say if you want to open up this gap a bit wider, you would stick it in this small tiny hole right here. You guys can see, you stick it in there, and then pretty much you just use this as a leverage to just like how you open a beer bottle cap. You know, you put them on the beer bottle opener, and then you just like that. But of course with this spark plug you want to go slowly, pry it up, and if you want to tighten up the gap, you use the back of this and pretty much just push it down. Push, like literally push this spark plug down against this this tool to close the gap. I mean, it works, it's effective. I'm sure there's a lot of tool that, you know, it's easier to use than this, but this is like a cheap, and pretty much you can find this anywhere. Alright, now that the spark plug is pre-gapped, pretty much ready to install it back, and then we can move on over to the ignition coil. Spark plug is on. Let's get the ignition coils. This is the side-by-side comparison of the Z33 ignition coil and the S13 SR. First glance, you can see the difference. The Z33 is a lot more slimmer, opposing to the S13 ignition coil, which is on the thicker side. The other difference is that the connector placement. You can see the S13 is at the front, and the Z33 is kind of like on the side. That's the second difference. The third one is the length. As you can see on the left side, the Z33, it's slightly longer, and to compensate for that, we're going to be reusing the SR boot right here that came with the ignition coil. This piece, the Z33 doesn't have one, So we're gonna be taking this off. The way that I install this boot is if you were to just slide it in like this, it would just fall right off. What I did was so you can see this little lip on the Z33 ignition coil. I just pull this down and then I slide in the S13 boot. Sorry, just like that, and just feed it through the hole, and then you just want to pull it out. Just like that. The way it's protruding out, and now this doesn't fall. So it's pretty much just holds the boot in place. And then on the S13 boot, there's this little nipple. If you look closely, the two hole right there, one on the right, one on the left, you pretty much just line up the nipple into one of the holes. In this case, I'm aligned up to the right holes. You just pretty much align it to the holes right there underneath where the mounting hose, so it just fits right in there, and that's it. You're all done. So not only that, the boot will level up the length. This is also needed to seal up the spark plug hole, because this boot here is way too small in diameter opposing to the S13. So this is the piece that covers the spark plug hole and seal that up. And then the next step, we can do the wirings. Just gotta swap some wirings over at the engine bay. It's pretty easy. All you gotta depin. Let me show you on the stock one. Look on here. No, right here. You can see on the left, starting from the left, it says E, and then a plus and minus on the right. Pretty much you're just swapping the middle, the plus, with the E. Just swap those two pins, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to do what I just did here with the Z33 lip. I just did it because it holds the boot in place. So if I were to remove it, it would just come right off with the ignition coil, opposing to if you just pretty much if you don't want to do it this way, you just put the boot in, shove it in the hole, and call it a day. I did this just to secure the boot in a little bit when if let's say I gotta remove it or something. But if you just want to simply install the boot in, shove it in, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's going to get clamped down by the bolt here. This is going to get sandwiched into the ignition coil, the valve cover. It's not going to fall off. But I'm just doing this just for like in the future, if I got to take off the ignition coil, it all comes in one piece. But yeah, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is what I'm going to do. You feel me? Yeah, these are all done. The boots are all installed. I've already tried test fitting them, and the one thing that I ran into is this, the mounting point. So if I were to line up the mounting holes right here, the connector plug, it's heading the valve cover, as you can see right here. Here, let me show you. I'm going to line the hole up. As you can see, this part of the ignition coil is heading the valve cover, and also the connector is heading that too. So the only way to fit the connector is you turn this out so that it's kind of align with the center of the valve cover. It's like in line right here. Then you can plug in the connectors. See, just like that. but you have this issue right here where the two mounting holes, they don't align. So I'm gonna have to come up with something else. Maybe make like an L bracket. No, not L bracket. It's like a, yeah, something like that. L bracket. If you line the holes up, you can actually screw it down, but just the connectors and this end of the ignition coil is going to be rubbing on the valve cover, so it's going to be a tight fitment. It's going to be a pain just mounting this back in, taking it off and on. So it would be easier if I just make a bracket that just attaches onto the Z33 coils. For the connectors, you do have to swap the pins. You want to swap the where's the old one? Here. If this is how the connector goes in, this is the stock SR ignition coil. Just want to show you guys again. So if you look on there, you see from the left to right, there's this E. This E is pretty much signal wire from the ECU, and in the middle is the plus. That's the 12 volts, and then last one, the negative, which is ground. You want to swap the E and the plus. So the plus is going to be here and the E will be in the middle. Why? Because on the Z33 ignition coil, the 12 volts 12 volt wire is on this pin, which is pin number 3. As used to say, yeah, pin 3, and then the signal wire is on pin 2 for the Z33, and that's why we have to swap the pins on the S13 ignition coil connector. Alright, so pretty much got all of the ignition coils installed and bolted down. Connectors are all in. Just gotta mess around with this wires right here. You want to kind of push it down a little bit so that the cover can go on. This sit pretty low, so it'll clear the cover. The only thing that's gonna be in the way is these wiring looms. Yeah, so the issue that I ran into pretty much like this part here where it's hitting the right side of the valve cover. So in order to get the hole to line up, you gotta kind of push it towards the driver's side so that the holes line up and you just can screw it in. But it's going to be hitting the valve cover right here. You can see on all of it. Other than that, it fits pretty snug and pretty flush on the valve cover where the spark plug hole is. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the conversions here. The reason why I went with this ignition coil, because one is cheap, two, there's a ton of them in, I don't know, AutoZone, O'Reilly, whatever parts storage you have. But yeah, they're cheap and they're easy to find. You can't even find them in a junkyard if you want to get a used one. Delete the ignited chip, so don't forget about that. This is very important. You forget this and your car will not even start. But pretty much both ends are different connectors. So if one connector doesn't plug in, then try the other connector. Once I get this done, hopefully I can take it out for a test drive. Finally, it's been a very long time. It's gonna be my very first test drive with this car. I mean, I've been test driving it here in the parking lot, just going back and forth. That's pretty much it. So I'm gonna take it out for a real test drive, long distance. I just hope it doesn't break down. mean, actually, you know what? Before I take it out for a test drive, I might be doing an oil change, because God knows how long this oil has been sitting in the car. Then I can take it out for a test drive. That's Kenny over there. Camera shy. Oh man, this car has come a long way. It's so close to getting this done. I'm so proud of myself getting this far, you know. Oh, thank you. He's just here for more support right now. Although he's kind of like far away from me, he's at a distance right now. He asked me if he's gonna be in a video, just like blur out his face. Just like if you guys ever watch Japanese adult videos, they just blur out the private parts. Yeah, I guess we're done. I'll work on the brackets later. In the next video, you guys might see me, or actually it might be the test drive video in the next one. So real excited for that. Again, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's kind of a boring video because, you know, I'm like a boring guy. I'm not as exciting as other YouTubers, but I'm just trying to, you know, teach you guys how to do the things that I'm doing. And I mean, I'll try to make it fun and enjoyable to watch, but you know, I'm just kind of like over it right now. I just want to get this car out, bang some rev limiters, and have fun. So being here in the garage, just placing parts, is not fun. But to get to that part, this is what we gotta do. Right, Kenny? Kenny approve. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in again today, and stay tuned for the test drive video. 36 Garage, we out.